America is home to more megachurches than any country on earth. These aren't just houses of worship, they're empires, some with more members than entire towns, generating millions of dollars each year. But with size comes power. And with power comes controversy, from pastors living like celebrities, to explosive scandals to the sheer force of influence these churches command. Today, we're counting down the top 50 largest megachurches in the United States. These are the 50 largest Protestant churches in America, ranked by average weekly attendance, not Easter services, not conferences, but the regular Sunday crowds. Some of these names are household famous. Others you may never have heard of, but they're quietly shaking cities with tens of thousands of members. Let's start at the very bottom of the top. Coming in at number 50 is Grace Family Church in Lutz, Florida, led by Chris Bonham. With over 12,500 weekly attendees, it's one of the fastest-growing churches in the Southeast. Known for its family-friendly branding, it's less flashy than some megachurch giants, but its growth is undeniable. At number 49, we have Union Church in Maryland, pastored by Stephen Chandler. Attendance: 12,799. What's fascinating is how quickly this church exploded. In a region not typically known for megachurch culture, Union proves that with savvy leadership and modern branding, even the Northeast Corridor can produce massive congregations. Number 48. The Summit Church in Durham, North Carolina, led by J.D. Greer, a former Southern Baptist Convention president. With 12,856 weekly worshipers, it's not only big, it's also reproducing, planting, and multiplying new campuses across the South. Summit represents a new wave of megachurch, less celebrity-centered, more decentralized. Number 47. Seacoast Church, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Josh Surratt leads a congregation of nearly 13,000. But here's the kicker. Seacoast was one of the first churches to pioneer the multi-site model, streaming sermons to campuses before it became trendy. In other words, they helped invent the megachurch playbook. Number 46. New Life Covenant Church in Chicago. Led by Efrain Munoz, it boasts 12,994 members. Chicago is a tough city for megachurches. Competition is fierce, and the Catholic influence is strong. But this Latino-led powerhouse has carved its place in the Windy City. At number 45, we've got North Coast Church in Vista, California. Chris Brown leads more than 13,000 people every Sunday. What makes it unique? Instead of one giant stadium-style sanctuary, North Coast uses dozens of smaller venues across its campus, giving a small church feel inside a massive operation. Number 44. Christian Cultural Center in Brooklyn, New York. Pastor A.R. Bernard leads 13,000 members in the heart of one of America's toughest urban centers. It's less flashy, more cerebral. Bernard is often described as a pastor who blends theology with cultural commentary. In a city dominated by secular influence, Christian Cultural Center is a true outlier. Number 43. Calvary Chapel, Golden Springs, California. Raul Reese leads about 13,000 members. This church is part of the wider Calvary Chapel movement, born out of the 1960s Jesus movement. Unlike some prosperity-style megachurches, Calvary is more old-school evangelical, but still pulling crowds in the tens of thousands. At number 42, we find Bayside Community Church in Bradenton, Florida. Randy Bezet leads 13,163 attendees. It's another one of those Florida churches growing like wildfire, proving that the Sunshine State is fertile ground for megachurches. Bayside has a reputation for being extremely seeker-friendly, drawing in people who might never step into a traditional church. Number 41. World Changers Church International in Atlanta, Georgia. You already know this one. Pastor Creflo Dollar leads over 13,200 people every week. But World Changers isn't just famous for size, it's infamous for controversy. From the prosperity gospel teachings to the scandal over Creflo's campaign to raise money for a private jet, this church is one of the most polarizing on the list. Loved by many, criticized by even more. Number 40. Mount Zion Baptist Church, Nashville, Whites Creek, Tennessee. Led by Joseph W. Walker III, with 13,413 weekly attendees. Mount Zion blends old-school Baptist tradition with a modern megachurch model. Think gospel choirs, but also LED screens. Nashville isn't just Music City, it's also a megachurch hub. Number 39. New Light Christian Center Church, Houston, Texas. Now led by Irish Hilliard, daughter of founder I.V. Hilliard. With 13,500 attendees, this church shows how megachurches often become family legacies. The Hilliards are a dynasty in Houston's church scene. Number 38. Free Chapel Worship Center, Gainesville, Georgia. Pastor Jentizen Franklin leads 13,568 members. He's famous for preaching and books on fasting, a practice he's popularized nationwide. Free Chapel is big in both spiritual discipline and political influence, with Franklin often weighing in on cultural debates. Number 37. New Spring Church, Anderson, South Carolina. Led by a team of pastors including Brad Cooper. With 14,000 weekly attendees, this church had to reinvent itself after its founder Perry Noble was removed in 2016 over alcohol abuse. That it's still thriving proves megachurches can survive scandal if the brand is strong enough. Number 36. The Rock Church and World Outreach Center, San Bernardino, California. Pastor Dan Roth leads 14,550 members. Located in a city known more for hardship than glamour, The Rock is proof that megachurches don't just thrive in rich suburbs, they also offer hope in struggling communities. Number 35. World Overcomers, Durham, North Carolina. Led by Andy Thompson, pulling 15,000 weekly attendees. North Carolina keeps popping up on this list, showing just how deep megachurch culture runs in the South. Number 34. World Outreach Church, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Pastor Alan Jackson shepherds 15,000 members. This church leans heavily into patriotic Christianity, mixing faith with conservative politics in ways that draw big crowds, especially in Tennessee. Number 33. New Life Church, Colorado Springs, Colorado. Led by Daniel Grothe. Attendance, 15,000. Once rocked by the Ted Haggard scandal in the mid-2000s, New Life is another example of a church that rebuilt after disgrace. A reminder, behind the attendance numbers there are often messy stories. Number 32. Harvest Christian Fellowship, Riverside, California. Pastor Greg Laurie leads 15,000 weekly worshipers. Harvest is famous for its massive evangelistic crusades in stadiums across America. Laurie himself is considered an elder statesman of the evangelical movement. Number 31. Calvary Church, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Led by Skip Heitzig, this church draws 15,100 attendees. Calvary is part of the wider Calvary Chapel movement, less flashy than prosperity megachurches, but still massive in reach. Number 30. Family Christian Center, Munster, Indiana. Pastor Steve Muncie, 15,805 members, known for theatrical, almost Broadway-style productions during Easter and Christmas. If you've ever wondered what happens when church meets showbiz, this is it. Number 29. New Life Church, Conway, Arkansas. Pastor Rick Bezet, with 15,968 members. Fast-growing and youthful, this is Arkansas's answer to the Elevation-style megachurch. Number 28. Triumph Church, Detroit, Michigan. Led by Solomon Kinloch. With 16,000 attendees, it's one of the biggest black megachurches in America. In a city hit hard by economic decline, Triumph stands as both a spiritual and community anchor. Number 27. James River Church, Ozark, Missouri. Led by John Lindell. Attendance, 16,000. Big in charismatic circles and known for powerful revival-style gatherings. Number 26. Calvary Chapel, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Pastor Doug Sauter, leading 16,283 worshipers. Once rocked by leadership scandals, this church managed to stay one of the largest in Florida. Number 25. Ministerio Internacional El Rey Jesus, Miami, Florida. Pastor Guillermo Maldonado. Attendance, 16,800. This Latino megachurch is famous for high-energy worship, supernatural claims, and Maldonado's controversial style. In Miami, it's a spiritual powerhouse, but also a lightning rod for critics. Number 24, Elevation Church, Charlotte, Matthews, North Carolina. Pastor Stephen Furtick. Attendance: 17,373. Easily one of the most famous names on this list. Elevation isn't just a church, it's a global brand, thanks to Furtick's sermons, books, and the massively popular Elevation Worship Band. Controversial for its celebrity pastor vibe, but undeniably influential. Number 23, Gateway Church, Southlake, Texas. Now led by Daniel Floyd. Attendance: 18,112. Once pastored by Robert Morris, now disgraced after ABUSC allegations surfaced in 2024. Gateway's inclusion shows how megachurches can outlive even the worst scandals, at least for now. Number 22, Woodlands Church, The Woodlands, Texas. Pastor Kerry Shook. Attendance: 18,385. Known for its modern worship style and youth focus. One of many megachurch giants clustered around Houston. Number 21, Second Baptist Church, Houston, Texas. Pastor Ed Young. Attendance: 19,564. This is old school Baptist with a megachurch twist. Ed Young Sr. is a seasoned pastor, and his son, Ed Young Jr., leads Fellowship Church elsewhere on this list. Another megachurch dynasty. Number 20, Prestonwood Baptist Church, Plano, Texas. Pastor Jack Graham. Attendance: 19,600. One of the most politically influential churches in America. Graham is a former president of the Southern Baptist Convention, and Prestonwood is a conservative powerhouse. Number 19, Bayside Church, Roseville, California. Pastor Ray Johnston. Attendance: 20,000. The biggest megachurch in Northern California, famous for drawing celebrities like the Sacramento Kings players to services. Number 18, Community Bible Church, San Antonio, Texas. Pastor Ed Newton. Attendance: 20,318. Known for being multi-generational and missions-minded. Number 17, Mariners Church, Irvine, California. Pastor Eric Geiger. Attendance: 20,547. Based in one of the wealthiest areas of Orange County, Mariners offers a very polished, upscale megachurch experience. Number 16, Central Church, Henderson, Nevada. Pastor Judd Wilhite. Attendance: 21,055. Located in Las Vegas's backyard, Central brands itself as a church for the unchurched, aiming to reach those far from faith in America's party capital. Number 15, Lake Point Church, Rockwall, Texas. Pastor Josh Howerton. Attendance: 21,311, one of the fastest growing megachurches in the country. Number 14, The Church of 11. 22, Jacksonville, Florida. Pastor Joby Martin. Attendance: 21,633. This one grew out of a youth ministry and exploded into one of the biggest churches in Florida, known for its edgy, passionate style. Number 13, Dream City Church, Phoenix, Arizona. Pastor Luke Barnett. Attendance: 22,500. This church went viral in 2020 after hosting Trump rallies during COVID. Beyond politics, it's a long-standing Pentecostal megachurch in Arizona. Number 12, LCBC Church, Manheim, Pennsylvania. Pastor Jason Mitchell. Attendance: 23,181. A reminder that megachurches aren't just a southern thing. Even in Pennsylvania's Amish country, massive crowds gather weekly. Number 11, Fellowship Church, Grapevine, Texas. Pastor Ed Young Jr. Attendance: 24,162. Known for over-the-top stunts, like putting a bed on stage to preach about sex. Fellowship has built a reputation for pushing boundaries. Number 10, Eagle Brook Church, Minnesota. Pastor Jason Strand. Attendance: 26,696. The biggest church in the Midwest, known for being extremely well organized, with services running like clockwork. Number 9. Southeast Christian Church, Louisville, Kentucky. Pastor Kyle Idleman. Attendance: 28,000. A teaching church in the Restorationist tradition. Not flashy, but rock solid in discipleship. Number 8. Saddleback Church, California. Now pastored by Andy Wood, following Rick Warren's retirement. Attendance: 28,000. Famous worldwide thanks to Warren's purpose-driven life, but also controversial after being kicked out of the Southern Baptist Convention in 2023 for appointing female pastors. Number 7. Christ Fellowship, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Pastor Todd Mullins. Attendance: 29,500. Known for attracting both locals and snowbirds, it's a megachurch with a beach town vibe. Number 6. Crossroads Church, Cincinnati, Ohio. Pastor Brian Tome. Attendance: 34,000. Famous for marketing itself as a church for people who don't like church. With beer festivals and wild sermon series, Crossroads is redefining what a megachurch looks like in the Midwest. Number 5. North Point Ministries, Alpharetta, Georgia. Pastor Andy Stanley. Attendance: 37,000. Hugely influential in leadership and discipleship circles. But Stanley himself has stirred controversy over his comments on sexuality and the church, sparking debates across evangelicalism. Number 4. Lakewood Church, Houston, Texas. Pastor Joel Osteen. Attendance: 45,000. Easily the most famous megachurch in America. Osteen's smiling face is instantly recognizable worldwide. Loved for his positive preaching, criticized for his prosperity gospel approach. When people think megachurch, they think Lakewood. Number 3. Christ Church of the Valley, CCV, Peoria, Arizona. Pastor Ashley Wooldridge. Attendance: 54,142. Fast-growing, less famous nationally, but a juggernaut in Arizona. Number 2. Church of the Highlands, Birmingham, Alabama. Pastor Chris Hodges. Attendance: 60,000. Enormous influence in the South, with a sprawling network of campuses. Criticized for political connections and racial controversies, but still pulling huge numbers. Number 1. Life Church, Edmond, Oklahoma. Pastor Craig Groeschel. Attendance: 85,000. The undisputed king of the megachurch world. Not just because of size, but also because Life Church gave us the YouVersion Bible app, downloaded over 500 million times. Groeschel may not be as flashy as Osteen or Furtick, but his church is arguably the most influential on earth. So what did we learn from America's biggest megachurches? Some are built on innovation, others on legacy, some are famous worldwide, others quietly dominate their regions. And yes, some carry as much scandal as they do influence. Biggest. Overall, Life Church. Craig Groeschel's 85,000-strong empire. Most famous, Lakewood Church. Joel Osteen's global platform of positivity. Most scandal-ridden gateway, Robert Morris, World Changers, Creflo Dollar, and New Life, Ted Haggard. Fastest rising, Union Church, Stephen Chandler, CCV, Ashley Wooldridge, and Church of 1122, Joby Martin. Most surprising locations, Eagle Brook in Minnesota, Triumph in Detroit, and Christian Cultural Center in New York City. Which of these megachurches have you attended, or at least visited once in your life? Did the experience live up to the hype, or did it leave you with more questions than answers? Drop your experience in the comments. We want to hear your stories. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the world of faith, fame, and controversy.